All right, so I just left the church. I think it was like Romans. I think it was like 6 something. It was like 6 something, 7 something, something like that. But it was pretty much about feeding your enemy. About like, oh, how you should like treat other people, pretty much. Treat them with graciousness and kindness, even if you're going through a bunch of bullshit. Even if it is a bunch of bullshit, you're supposed to still be nice to them, right?
Blasphemy, you cussing talking about the Bible.
But they don't even believe in the Bible. At least I kind of, in theory, believe in the Bible. They don't even believe in the Bible. Christians don't actually believe in the Bible. Because they will shoot someone who walks into their house without their permission. Say, feed thy enemy, not shoot them in the face when they try to steal your TV. And I've been actually talking to a lot of people recently. Christians, ostensibly Christian, who are so adamant on the idea of if someone's stealing from you or someone being mean to you, you have every right and obligation to murder them. Even if they're not actually about to kill you, even if they're not about to harm you, actually, like with your actual harm, like your actual body, you have a right to murder them if they're trying to take your TV or take your car or take an item of yours. Christians genuinely feel they are allowed to murder people because of that. Well, not because of that, but despite of them being a Christian and despite loving thy neighbor in the Roman verse. It's wild to me. And then, like, throughout the service, they were talking about serving the Lord. Serving the Lord is very important, blah, blah. But they never said, like, how they serve the Lord or, like, what the Lord asked them to do and, like, what they're actually doing in service of the Lord. They didn't actually explain that. And it was really weird. Like, if one serves the Lord, what has he asked you to do? And why aren't you doing it? Because from the Bible that I've read, it says, like, feed your neighbor. It says love thy neighbor. It says, love the outcast. It says love the outsider. It says a bunch of positive shit that I see Christians actively fighting against. I actually know for a fact. Actually, I don't know for a fact, but I have a sneaking suspicion that if Jesus came back today, and I think a lot of people say this, if Jesus came back today exactly how he is in the Bible, people would not believe that he was Jesus, and they would kill him as a blasphemer. Instantly. Quick. And so I was in the thing, I was looking at everybody's faces and like how everyone's reacting to everything and how everyone looks. And I understand why Christians don't believe each other. And why all Christians don't believe other Christians are real Christians. It makes sense now to me. Looking at everybody and watching how everyone reacts and watching how everyone even interprets the Lord or interprets the Bible or lack thereof. They don't even interpret the Bible. They just say parts of the Bible and then just put their own spin on it, effectively. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me how I didn't see this before, and understand why Christians don't actually believe each other. Because in my eyes, from my point of view on Christianity, God is within you. He's not an outside force. You know what I'm saying? From my viewing of the Bible, God is an internal thing, and the only way that he acts in the world is through human actions. That's my interpretation of God, or their Christian God, right? They don't believe this, for obvious reasons, not obvious reasons, but for some reasons, some good theological reasons, but also because they're selfish and they don't want to have to actually do that work. They don't want to have to actually be Jesus. They want just Jesus. Oh, Jesus died on the cross. He died for your sins. I don't have to do shit for your sins. I don't have to help you with your sins. All I have to do is condemn you and call you a piece of shit and call you bad names and make your life actively harder. Because Jesus already forgave you. It's not my job to forgive you. You know what I'm saying? It's my job to condemn you, apparently. Which it doesn't say in the Bible either, but whatever. Or maybe it does, and that's my point. You as a Christian, you can justify pretty much anything, and the fact that Christians choose to justify the evil shit demonstrates to me they're just bad people. Personally, from my point of view. So Sundays, and this is another thing that gets me about churches. There'll be 50 plus people that come into a building and for 2 hours and they'll just yell, scream, and just to feel better, right? But their whole mission that they're screaming and yelling about is serving God. I don't think you serve God by sitting in a building with a bunch of other Christians accomplishing nothing for the world. I don't think that's how you serve God. At least from my viewing and interpretation of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? From my view as a former Christian, when I was a Christian, that's how I thought. You're supposed to help people, and that's how you prove that you're a Christian. Whoever helps people the most is the real Christian. That's in my eyes. When I was a kid. Now I believe and know that real Christians are the ones who are willing to kill in the name of God. Mm-hmm. Those are the real Christians. Those are the only Christians that actually are real. All the people who call themselves Christians are not Christians. They're people who actually want to live in a sane world. But if you're not willing to kill for this motherfucker, if you're not willing to kill for Allah or kill for Yahweh or kill for God or kill for whatever you want to fucking call him, for killing for Levon, whatever you want to call him, you are not an actual Christian. That's my point of view. At least what other Christians believe Christianity is, at least. Or what the majority of Christians, I should say. And also, I was thinking about something. Does God protect babies from hearing damage? Or from collapsed lungs in churches? Because they're really fucking loud. And the sound waves are thumping.
They used to hurt me.
Yeah, I can understand why. I felt it in my chest the entire time. The entire service, when he was talking, when they were drumming, the entire time, I'm like, man, and they dedicated a baby, which I guess means, you bring a baby after you have it a couple months, and you're like, hey, God, apparently this nigga's yours. It's fucking weird, and I can't really describe it without being a full-blown Christian, and it makes sense.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, it's weird. So apparently, you probably were dedicated. I was probably dedicated to God.
I won't dedicate.
I hope I wasn't, because that's fucking creepy. I don't get no choice in this.
I won't dedicate. My mom was
That's
Buddhist.
fucking creepy. Yeah, you definitely weren't. Yeah, you definitely weren't. But I might have.
She would have gone to hell in that church.
Yeah, you probably would have hell. But yeah, they dedicate babies. It's fucking weird. But I was just thinking, does God protect his disciples from the damage that is caused from going to church?
No.
And I assume he doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Can I tell you something that bothers me?
Wait. It does explain why white people allow black people to do this shit.
Yeah.
It never made sense to me why white people allowed black people to get together and talk about shit they didn't want to talk about. Because they don't talk about shit they want to talk about. They talk about the quote-unquote the Bible and serving the Lord. That's what they talk about. They don't talk about anything else. They don't talk about actually doing something. They don't talk about accomplishing anything. They don't talk about goals of the church. They don't talk about the tenets of the church, the legs of the church, or what we're going to do. Hey, this week I want all y'all to, go out and, give a turkey to a homeless person. They say nothing like that.
Baby, I think you should also keep in mind that our ideal of how we mimic church comes from slavery.
Yes, I agree.
So I think you should give them a little
no,
more
credit. That's my notes too.
That's
my notes too, and no, they don't get credit for that. They will not get credit for that. You don't get credit for being a slave. I'm sorry. You will never get credit for being a slave. It's too easy to be a slave. You will not get credit for that. Simple as that. If it was hard being a slave, I would give you credit. It's hard being a freedman. It's hard being on your own. It's hard actually having to make decisions on your own. That's fucking difficult. That is the most difficult thing a human can do. What's not hard is letting another motherfucker tell you to do everything. That's why niggas in the military don't impress me. That's why.
I don't like military men.
No.
I feel as though the higher in ranks you are, the more of a bitch you are.
Yeah, and they know that too. But they know that too, though. They know that too. I'll give them that. Military people are very, very self-aware. They just have to they have to actively push their life into them being not self-aware. So they have to drink themselves to death. They have to beat their wives so they have an outlet. They have to do these bad things. They have to go kill kids overseas so they can have an outlet of, I'm getting fucked. That I really enjoy. That I think they don't know. They don't notice that they're doing it. And I also don't notice that they're doing it because they wouldn't be Christians if they did. They speak about the Lord as though he's not real. Or that he hasn't already done the thing that they're saying that he's done. So they truly believe that Lord is all this all-knowing, all-powerful, all-doing thing. For you to quote-unquote acknowledge, the idea that he needs your acknowledgement is weird if you think that he's actually the God of the universe. If you actually think that he actually did all these things. He doesn't care for your acknowledgement. He wants you to do the thing that he asked you to do. He doesn't care if you know who he is. He wants you to do the thing he asked you to do, which is help your fellow man, love thy neighbor, all that shit, right? I would imagine, at least. Again, from my interpretation of the Bible. And so it's like, it's just so funny to me that they speak, they frame him as though he's not real. The way they speak, the way they not here's the next thing. Not only do they not speak as though he is real, they speak as though he like needs your help in order to accomplish the task, and not you accomplishing the task is him doing it. Like they don't account for like they like here's how I'm trying to imagine it. They imagine that God, like you say you're bench pressing, right? You're bench pressing. They imagine that God is spotting you and helping you lift up the bar, and not God is literally your arms picking up the bar. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so they speak as though he's an outside force and not a critical part of who you are and what you do and how you act and how you function. Even though in the Bible it say you're made in the image of God, you're made in His image, you're made with His desires, with His all this other stuff, right? They say this thing in the Bible, but they don't account for that when they speak about it in the grand sense, which makes me believe that it's not real. Okay. Because if it was real, you wouldn't have to do these mind tricks in order for me to make it sense. I would have to do mind tricks for it to make sense. I didn't have to do mind tricks, and you shouldn't have to do mind tricks in order for you to ignore half of one thing so you can place it onto something else. And another thing they do, they'll say, oh, well, we're talking about Psalm 16 through 18 or whatever. But then they won't just say the verse. They won't just say Psalm 16, we're talking about Psalm 16 through 18. It said in this thing, love thy neighbor, blah, blah. And then in my idea, next thing you do, you read it. You just read it word for word. You don't do anything else. You just read it word for word. He didn't do that. He kept breaking it up, so he would say 3 words of the line, of the first line, but then wouldn't say the whole line, and he would have this whole spiel. And I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck what you're saying right now, because everything that you're saying is blasphemous, for one thing, because you're breaking up the word of God. Again, from my interpretation of the Bible, and from what y'all be saying to me, and to other other non-Christians, that what he's doing is fucking blasphemous, and the fact that y'all are cheering and clapping it, fucking weird. But let's keep going. And the way that he was trying to talk about the verses, the way he was framing the verses, I could tell they don't actually read the Bible. I don't think those pastors actually read the Bible. Like, actually read the whole thing and in context. Like, I think that they say, they'll look online like, hey, what are some good Bible verses to get people to give me money? And then they get all these Bible verses, and then they just swap arguments around until they get enough money to do the next thing they want to do. This is how I imagine they're doing it, because what they're actually doing is not what they're stating what they're trying to do. There's no way they're reading this, and the context that they're using for the stories is terrible. I'll have to give some more perfect examples. I agree with you. I wish I did record it. I wish I did record the thing so I can have a better succinct argument to what I'm trying to say to you. But it blows my mind how often they were doing this shit. There's no way they read the whole thing. Religion, and this is something, another thing in the church, and I've noticed this actually from my memories, and they talk about memories a lot, and how that's all you need to worship God, and I agree with them. If I believed in God, I would agree with you. Because that's how I did. That's how I worshiped God when I was a child. So, I agree with you. But it's just repetition. Davina either would have ate this up.
She would have.
Or should have been like, y'all niggas are fucking blasphemous.
She would have ate it up.
And I feel as though, no, I haven't things, but she would have ate that shit up. But I don't think they were wild enough for her. That's what I'm saying. I feel as though she didn't think they would have had enough passion. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think she would have saw what I saw, and it's like, they're not real. They're not really into the Lord. Because when I was into the Lord, you couldn't stop me from doing shit. You couldn't calm me down. You literally couldn't calm me down. I was a wild person when the Lord got into me. When I thought the Lord got into me. Okay? So, I know these motherfuckers aren't actually, at least from my point of view, from my point of view, these motherfuckers aren't actually.
Did anybody run around the church?
Your grandma.
She did.
She didn't run around the church, but she was screaming. She was yelling. And there was a baby yelling. There was a baby, and it yelled at the perfect time. Don't get me wrong. The timing on this baby was perfect. But I think the baby just wanted something that the mom wouldn't give it. And so it was yelling. But it was like, can I get an amen? And the baby started yelling. It had me crying. It was like perfect. If the God exists, he did only that thing. That's the only thing in the whole world he's ever done. Is line that up. Only thing. There's no way he's done anything else. So there's the thing. He like pulled out this paper, this religious paper from this fucking 17th century German motherfucker, white motherfucker, talking about like how like they were talking about like some deeper, quote unquote, deeper theological meaning about the Psalms verse, and like how this motherfucker was like, this preacher from 1700s was like, you have to give to the Lord. If you don't give to the Lord, then you're stealing from the Lord, pretty much. And it's like, bro, you could have thought of that yourself. You did not have to bring a white man into this. And the fact that you felt the need to bring an old white man into this makes me believe that y'all are not actually reading this fucking book. There's no way y'all are reading this book. If you have to get a 300-year-old white man's interpretation of the Bible, and they are not even reading the same Bible. Both of y'all are not even reading the same Bible. It's like the deeper theological meaning is hidden even from the pastors, but old white dudes. They can't let it go. Like that part of the Bible and that part of the Christian history can never be erased, and it's so central to Christianity at this point that black people can't get rid of it, and white people live by it. And that's another thing that I thought was really interesting, that it really hit me, actually. I was actually like, oh shit, maybe hey, I'm gonna listen a little closer, because maybe God's onto something here. Maybe he's onto something. Maybe the pastor might be, maybe he'll trick me. Let's see if he can trick me. And I thought about this. One must resist looking at their past and their future and the problems that they have dealt with and overcame in life with God rosed glasses.
Okay.
Whereas like they attribute God helping them when it was, oh, you chose to starve yourself so you have more money so you can pay your bills, and that's the reason your bills were paid that month. Not because God gave you money, not because some other person gave you some extra dollars, not because you had extra hours at work, but because you demanded that your boss give you extra hours. You demanded that you get a bonus or whatever. You demanded these extra things, and you did them. You accomplished them, not God. God didn't actually do anything. He did not put in the spirit of these other people, maybe we should give them more money. No, you went up to them like, I need more money because I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And you proved yourself, and you demonstrated and showed value to other humans. And so they rewarded you for it. And people place that value that they create within themselves onto God. I believe not rightly. And if you're going to place any aspersions onto God whatsoever, I feel as though you have to focus on the spirit of like, I can do this. That's the only thing God did.
So my thing with kind of like Christianity is I feel, and it's kind of like my main, and it's always been my main point. I feel as though they look at people as if, like even themselves, they look at us as if we're less than. Because to me personally, it doesn't make sense how this man who loves you so much would send you somewhere with a bunch of other bad people.
Yeah, why we bring you a good person? Why we send you to earth?
And I just feel as though so many people, like when they feel as though they've came to something along that resonation of like everybody is the world is sinful and me and a couple other people are godly. I feel as though using their words, because I kind of use Christian words a lot because I think it kind of puts things. We're cultural Christians. But to me, stuff like that is letting the enemy use you, because
he won.
If everybody actually is bad, which they aren't, but if everybody is bad, why would you exclude yourself?
Yeah.
If he put you here.
Yeah. He put everyone else here too.
And you're
Why
going to
do you think
go
you're so special?
somewhere to where you're excluded. And that seems that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That he could birth you in what you're supposed to be doing. Like you were literally birthed around people, in a building for people, helping people. But then you grow older and decide to isolate yourself. That just don't make, for someone who calls themselves an actual Christian, it don't make sense to me.
Yeah. And it's like Christians choose the hateful side of Christianity instead of the loving side of Christianity. And that's why no one can be an actual Christian in my eyes. Because if you're going to be a hateful Christian, you have to do both. You got to do both. You got to do both. If you're going to be a real Christian, you got to do both. Or you only have to pick the love side. Because if you're going to pick a side, you have to pick the love side. Or if you're going to be a Christian, you got to do both. You pick one. Either be good or be a shithead all the way around. Well, not a shithead, but be godly all the way around. You can't pick, I'm going to be the evil motherfucker that's going to stop people from getting abortions, but I'm not going to adopt any children. I'm gonna condemn all the gay people, but I'm also going to suck some dick on the side myself. Like those are the Christians that need, like, they are the ones that need to believe God.
Side note, I think Pastor gay.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I can't pinpoint it. Swear to God to you, I can't pinpoint
the shorter, fatter dude. Okay, I can see where you're going with that. Yeah,
but it's just something about him.
He looks like
either that or he's a serial cheater.
Yeah, I think the other one's a serial cheater. I think the other one would be cheating on his wife. I'm not even sure if he has a wife or nothing like that, but I feel as though if he had a wife, he's cheating. Like, he's cheating. He looks like a cheater to me. I don't know why. Like, that's not very godly in my eyes or whatever the fuck. Like, I shouldn't be saying that about him, but he looks like a cheater to me. I don't know why. What's another thing?
That's the pastor. Let me see. He's a little short
head. Another thing that they did, I thought this shit was lit as fuck, okay?
I always thought his wife was so pretty, though.
Yeah, she's very pretty. I thought it was lit as fuck. So the guitar dude, he was like making little riffs. He was like,
I always wonder if they practiced that shit. I always wondered that shit, or if like they just grew up in the church and knew like the beats.
Yeah.
And so then once they got into it, they was like, yeah, I gotta do it right now.
Yeah, but he was just doing it by himself while the preacher was talking right now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the coolest part of the whole fucking thing because it sounded like metal music to me. And the way he was screaming, like the pastor was screaming, he was like, yes! And you need to love the Lord! I love that shit. And that shit was lit as fuck. That shit was lit as fuck.
I like it when they used to do it with trombones.
Yeah, that's kind of cool too, yeah. But I like that. I like that. It sounded like really cool ass metal music, and I feel like pastors would be great metal artists if they would just stop pretending like metal is anti-Lord.
You want to do something, actually? And...
all he needs is a bass guitar.
You're probably not going to want to because it costs money.
What's your guitar?
But I think, and not even if you don't like actually go to a concert, just standing outside, I think would be a really good area for you to protest. There is a gospel concert going around with Kirk Franklin, Marvin Sapp, and some other people.
Yeah.
And I think you should stand outside the building and talk to some of the people.
I should look into that. But what are you getting out of this?
Yeah.
Because he's not the Lord. He's not Jesus. So what are you getting out of this?
I read the comments, nigga said, all I saw was Marvin Sapp, and I'll be there.
What Jesus said?
Who was he?
I don't know. I know a nigga named Jesus Christ. And Kirk Franklin sound familiar? But I don't think I would go there for him.
I love me some Kirk. I'm sorry.
No,
Kirk is lit.
That's what I said. I heard about the nigga. I heard about the motherfucker. He's kind of cool.
Kirk is lit.
I like his music. Another thing.
First person that got outed for cussing, he apologized.
Social contagion. I can tell, and they even have to put this on the TV screens to not bother other people in the church if they're not doing the godly shit that you are doing. So like I was sitting there the whole time, flat face. Didn't care about shit. I'm not standing up when you ask me to stand up. I'm sitting here and I'm just gonna listen to you. Mm-hmm. On the little TV things, and this I gotta respect this. They were like, "Hey, everyone prays differently. Everyone does everything differently. If you see someone doing something different than you're doing, leave them the fuck alone." Effective. That's pretty much what they said. Yeah. I was like, I respect that. I actually love that.
Because that's actually been that's been a pretty big thing.
Yeah, because like I'm not standing up and ayo, don't talk to. Because I was thinking in my head like, I really hope one of these dumb motherfuckers behind me doesn't ask me to stand up. Or I was talking to Zarion, he's lit.
Oh, he was there?
Yeah, he's sitting there. I sat there. We were talking about this shit. It was like, I was like, you hear the Lord? You feel the Lord yet? And he's like, yeah, I feel the Lord yet. I'm like, cool. He's like, oh, you feel him yet? I'm like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Well, you know, Zarian an actual Christian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I try to be respectful to Christians.
Zarian
really
a Christian army. Like, he Christian down.
Yeah, so I was like, you got the Lord? Yeah, I was like, so cool.
Zarian like Sean.
And so peer pressure and social contagion. I don't like that shit. And I can tell that they try to peer pressure you into doing the ties. They peer pressure you into standing up. They peer pressure you into clapping. But those actions don't actually demonstrate, in my eyes, your commitment to the Lord. If you believe in God. I don't think those actions demonstrate your commitment to the Lord. Personally. And so I'm happy that no one in the church was like trying to force. They were like compelling you to, but they weren't forcing you to do anything. And I respect that about the church. That is actually something that's very different than when I was in church. Because I would have gotten kicked out of the church and got spanked and then sit back in there. And if I didn't continue to do, like if I didn't perform effectively, I would get kicked out. So I do respect that about new churches. They're a lot more open in that sense. Not that they're open in the sense that of the actual.
Definitely trying to have more young people.
Yes. I could tell. There was a bunch of old people and a bunch of older people. There was like maybe like 7 young people and some of them were there for like
probably family.
School, yeah, like school and stuff like that. Like Nazarian, what's his name?
Like other girls that graduated, their grandma go to church and shit.
Those like that. Baby internal organs in church. I could not stop thinking about that little baby's guts. That, like, I don't know why. After I felt it in my chest, after a while, I'm like, and like for some reason, like I was smoking, so like before this, I still felt something like smoke in my lungs a little bit. So I was thinking, like, man, that baby's organs are fucked up. That baby's skull is rattled.
Were they in the front?
No, they were in the back, but the speaker's in the back too. And I was just like, damn, bro, like you like
sitting in the front, boy.
Right?
You trying to see him literally.
Right? And I was thinking like, oh man, that baby like is gonna get so scrambled. And I was like, I think that's part of being a Christian. That's how you have to be able to accept all this stuff. Your brain has to be scrambled at the beginning of your fucking existence for you to be uncomfortable and think any of this makes sense. Even while you think that you believe in something. That you demonstrate every single day that you do. Another thing about God that I thought was hilarious, but I actually agree with him, but he doesn't agree with me. But I agree with him, but he doesn't agree with me. He makes God seem like a deadbeat father. It is so funny. So I'm going to tell you the quote. He was like, and this had something to do with giving tithes and stuff like that, too. It was near the end. But he was like, he was just like, when God, did this thing for you and you were down on your luck and all this stuff. And he was like, but you gave your money and, you tried, some people in here are giving their last dollar, but they still gonna get to the Lord, and you gonna give it to us.
I'm talking about, not yet, go on, he said that every Sunday. I
know, but I remember it's prosperity gospel. It actually has a name. It's called the prosperity gospel, and it's fucking evil and disgusting. We said at the end.
I cannot tell you one time I've been to that church and he hasn't said that.
Of course, right? But he makes God seem like a deadbeat dude, a deadbeat father. And this is one thing he said, and I think you've heard, here I go trusting God again. That phrase, here I go trusting God again, blows me away. Blows me away. Because it implies that the last time you trusted this motherfucker, he did not deliver. That's what it implies. Here we go trusting God again. And the way that some of the women were saying it, it sounded like they were talking about their fucking baby daddies. And it was just like, y'all don't feel this? This is vivarium ass shit. Y'all don't feel this? And it was blowing me away. It was really blowing me away. Not really, honestly, but actually it wasn't blowing me away. I'm gonna take that back. It actually wasn't. It was actually very, very.
It's just still astounding, even though you already know.
Really, dude.
It never gets old.
Yeah, it never gets old. It really never gets old. Another thing. Tithes are, so here's the only way I would give tithes. If it's for the payment of the performance that I just received. That's the only way that I feel personally giving tithes. If I'm giving it not to the Lord, because he's fucking with me every day, I gotta give him shit. So I'm not gonna give him shit. Except the love and the spirit I give to the world, right? The only thing I give the Lord, right? In my eyes. In my interpretation of the Bible, right? But but I would give tithes if it was going directly to that old bald white, that old black white man in the middle that was singing his heart out in that entire performance. He was giving us everything he had. And I fucks with that.
The people who give us shit at the church don't get paid.
They don't get anything.
Well, actually,
because they're the ones that actually are there for the Lord.
Yeah,
they don't want anything.
Did you have somebody singing? Was there somebody singing at the beginning?
Not really. No.
Oh, they don't sing no more.
Like all of them in the top row, or whatever. We're all like.
Well, because that's probably why church one is long. But they used to have like there used to be different singers.
No, they limited it to 2 hours now.
Thank God.
Which is a respectful amount of time to praise the Lord, I think, personally. But yeah, that's the only way I would be able to give tithes to people if I was giving them for the performance that I received, like the show I just watched. Here's $10 for the show I just watched. In the name of the Lord, in their eyes they can say this in the name of the Lord. But I did they performed in the name of the Lord, so they're getting paid, and then they can give it to the Lord. I don't want to give it to the Lord because I already gave him everything I'm going to give him. He don't need nothing else from me. In my interpretation of the Bible, right? And then they were talking about like Christians love doing this, and this is like not even just regular Christians or like modern Christians, but this has been every Christian in the world. Christians hate the idea that God can do evil, but He can do everything, but they don't like to admit that God does evil shit, or is an evil human being or evil entity.
The fact that people believe that you can be God's favorite, but don't believe that He can do evil shit is just ridiculous.
So he has favoritism. He has a gradient that he lives upon to some degree because he has a favorite. You take it to him, right? So that means he has a least favorite. Even if all of you are 99s, one of you are 99.1. You know what I'm saying? And they go in the front, right? Because they're both 99. Then it's just someone has to be last. If you're gonna say that everyone's equal, someone has to be last.
So I want to say this in reference to
if you're not going to say everyone's equal, someone has to be last.
The whole church thing. Not even church thing, but like God and church and thing like that. Even if we don't have one, I would like to at least see if there is some type of community.
Satanist.
That
Church of Satan. Church of Satan does exactly the things that we want to do. But it's called the Church of Satan.
Because here's my thing. It's not even that I don't... Can you fix that for me? It's not even that I don't necessarily... So, here's the thing. So, I have to be very clear about what I say. I do not believe in a Christian God. I do not believe in a God or a deity. I personally believe something similar to what you believe. I just believe that literally everything is God. Like me, an iPad, a window. I think that everything is itself, experiencing itself, loving itself, being mean to itself, having emotions to itself. With that being said, I do feel as though there are, with being different versions of yourself, you have not only different obligations, but different vision and different roles. And one of them that I feel as though is very perverted by Christianity is the feeling of not being alone. But I feel as though they pervert it into putting it into people's minds as though I see this as an actual another person. And I don't see her as another person.
I don't see God as an actual outside entity whatsoever.
Since I was a child.
I've never felt that. I agree with you.
Since I was a child, I've always imagined myself as older. And I can't even tell you how I saw her, but I looked exactly how I look right now.
Yeah, one of the voices in my head is God, in my point of view.
Yeah, and I think that's an older me. Like when I sit here and I reflect on things, I'm like, oh, this happened to me as a child. To me, that reminds me of certain gut feelings that I had when I was a child, and I'd be upset about something, or I'd be going through something, and to me, talking to myself, asking my older self, am I going to get through this, and am I going to be okay from this? Maybe that's just me, but that's how I perceive things. And with that being said, I feel as though a lot of other people perceive things that way, but don't
say it
can't verbalize it. And with that being said, I think Christianity, they
abuse that idea.
Because so many people feel that way. Like so many people feel as though they they're not even really asking for this person specifically. They're asking.
They want something to feel comfortable.
Yeah. And I feel as though they just, like, I don't like that white man that they throw in there.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that, like, which I probably will look into Satan churches and stuff like that, because it's like I like the.
You like the community, right?
Yeah, I like it, and I respect the fact of things are bigger than me. That's the main thing I think a lot of other people respect about Christians, is that they claim to have this fundamental belief that things are bigger than me. They will always be bigger than me, down to even when I'm bigger. It will always be bigger than me. Yeah. Bigger than I can ever imagine.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wish Christians actually believe that, too.
Yeah, and so it's like, I feel as though, like, having somewhere to actually go to...
acknowledge that fact?
Yeah.
But actually do something positive for the bigger whole?
Yeah. So like, I think, like, a really good church dynamic would be, like, once a month type stuff. But it's like when you meet that once a month, you're talking about how you helped people. And like, if you couldn't help somebody, what did you realize that you needed so that you could? What can I give you so that you can help somebody?
What can a group do for you so you can help other people?
Yeah.
How can we help you so you can help other people?
Because if there's 5 people in a group, everybody drive that way. Somebody gonna see somebody on the street. Somebody gonna see something. Yeah. So it's like, and I just feel as though,
like, oh, did you see someone that you couldn't help this time? Give me their numbers. I can help them. You know what I'm saying? Something to that effect. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I wish that Christians, with all of their global spanning, actually did the shit that they said they wanted to do. And it wasn't just a couple of them doing it for the sole reason of getting a tax break and to getting, quote unquote, Jesus points. Because I know some people actually truly believe everything that they're saying, but they're only doing it for Jesus points. They're not doing it because they actually truly believe in, like, oh, the world is bad. I want to make it better because this is supposed to be God's kingdom. I'm supposed to treat it like beauty. I'm supposed to treat it like it's God because it is God. Blah blah. But you don't move like that. Christians don't move like that. I've not met so many Christians move like that, and they actually didn't want anything in return. I've never been a Christian that gave you something that didn't want anything in return, except the Christian that helped you in Hampton that helped you with your rent. That was actually really cool, and I was actually one of the few times I was like, Christians possibly could maybe want something if they weren't all retarded.
I don't think... And
if the religion wasn't retarded. People aren't retarded. The religion is retarded.
Yeah, I think them particularly, the reason that they're like that, and even when I was listening to them, even when they're preaching, they base it completely differently. Like, unironic, and I actually want to go back and visit it to see if I remember what I think I remember correctly, but they base it completely differently. Like, they don't tell you, you need to give tithes, you need to do this, you need to do that. They say, do you need, like, unironically, like, they will say, do you need tithes? If you need something, stay off the church.
Yeah. And if you have money, if
you got money to give somebody, stay off the church.
Yeah, and then give that money to those people that need it. Boom, easy. No money has to go through the hands of the church. You don't have to be scared that the pastor's going to take any money off of it. We will pay for all of the other shit ourselves. You can give us money if you want for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't give us money for it. But these people need help. You can help. Boom, let's go. Let's match. A matching game. And I wish church was moving like that. And like business ideas and all those things. Where it's like, oh, these young men that are about to graduate. This man's going into business. This man's going into mechanical engineering. This man's going to electrical engineering. Who the fuck has a business that can use any of these works? Any of this work? Who can use an intern? Who can put their shit on this man's resume so he can get some better shit later? No, that doesn't cross their minds. That doesn't, like, the whole networking idea doesn't cross their synapses. Because they don't have anything. Huh?
At the Mountain Place it does. I'm not saying they do it perfectly.
Some places do. I'm not saying this is like a full-blown all Christians thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's enough Christians.
It's most of them.
Yeah, it's the vast majority.
And the best way the easiest way that I think puts it in a perspective of how I would to pretty much how self-centered and unactual community based they are, is that pastors connect with each other all the time, nationally, internationally.
They have meetings and everything, yeah, but
they
never
don't actually. Yeah, they don't actually connect their churches. They connect their churches when they know one of their other people need more members, and they got a lot. So I can give you 3. You can get 3 of those, stuff like that. But it's not like, I know this church is doing a fundraiser for such and such.
Yeah. How about instead of the tithes going to our church this week, those kids in Flint, Michigan need some water.
Yeah.
Let's put all our tithes together. Let's send the $700 to Flint, Michigan. I know it's just $700, guys, but that's $700 they didn't have before. In the name of God, amen. Boom. That's all he had to say. Boom. I will give you money.
You should actually go to Mount.
I would give you money.
You should unironically go to Mount.
Like, and that's the problem with Christians. They don't. Their presentation is god awful. Well, excuse me. Their presentation is really good because remember, God is a great motif. God, the motherfucker who did everything. That's a great motif. They use it so poorly and so haphazardly and so like clunkily. It's just lazy, and it makes me believe they don't believe it. Cause I can do better, and I don't even believe in this shit. So that's a piss. I'm not gonna say I can do better. I'm not gonna say I can do better. I'm not gonna say I can do better because that's not necessarily what I want to do. And I can lie better than
they should be better.
But they should be better human beings. They should be better disciples of God that they claim they are.
I really think that you should talk to the pastor. What's his name? Not even like to join, but just like to talk to him. Cause like now that I think about it, everything that man does is fundamentally different. Like you know how like most pastors they make sure they look nice when they go on stage. So I'm about to be in front of a bunch of people. I don't want to go up there looking a mess. He specifically, and he's actually said this.
Going there looking a mess.
Yeah, he said I don't want to be the best person. As the pastor, I can't be the best looking person in church.
Yeah, because what
I look like being the person on stage looking the best, talking about God.
What did Jesus wear? Where would Jesus wear? And then you can talk to me about fucking God. How about that?
And he believes you can trick like I'm not right. You can tell he believes that shit.
Some people like I'm wrong. Some good Christians genuinely believe that, but a lot of people who truly believe that shit are not good Christians.
But they're isolated as well too.
Yeah, they are isolated as well, but they have a lot more power, and they actually they don't believe in God so much they actively get together and do stuff about it. Mm-hmm. They actively make it life harder so people will be pushed more towards God.
I was hearing his wife say something one day, and it's whether it's completely true or not. Like it's just the fact that they don't want people to feel as though they have more money because they're the first family.
Yeah.
But it's like the lady. So like when they gave me a check, they gave some other people some money, but they gave a family a car because they got in a car accident and they just had a baby.
Yeah. No.
It's car seat, you stuff like that.
Yeah, car seat.
So, but the lady said that moral of the story, they could have bought them a car that's like $3,000. They wanted to get them a reliable car that was gonna last for a while. So it was about a little over $10,000.
Yeah.
Makes sense. They had 2 cars. They were both pretty. They weren't newer cars, but they had 2 cars.
They worked.
Yeah, they sold one of them so that they could have more money to give them people a car.
Oh, like the pastor sold his car. Oh, okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, and that's how it should be. Or he should give them their car.
Yeah, and the wife talked about it because I'm pretty sure she was the one that was. It was probably her car.
Mad as fuck.
It was probably her car.
Mad as fuck too.
Probably her car. Our car is gone. But we don't have a car seat. Our child is about to graduate. You know.
We don't need it. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, I might be annoyed that I'm giving it to you, but I know for a fact that tomorrow I'm gonna be happy that you have it.
Yeah.
Every single time. And that's how Christians should work. But they actively don't work like that. They will actively sit in your face and say, I'm so happy you have that thing. And then the next day work their entire rest of their existence making sure that you having that thing is a bad thing for you. Every time. Every time. Every time. The vast majority of Christians. A greater percentage of Christians than black people who steal. That's bad. And we treat black people like shit. Only 15% of them steal. But half the fucking Christians are evil human beings. More than half of them are evil human beings, but we treat them like they're good, God awesome people. But we treat black people like they're evil. We treat Asian women like they can't drive, or Asian people like they can't drive, even though like only 10% of them fuck it up. But all the white people are racist.
But if I say it.
I'm not gonna say all actually. I'm not gonna take it back.
Oh no! Oh no! Because I said it.
It's not all. It's never gonna be all. It's not all. It's never gonna be all. And if it was all, they would have been exterminated already. If every single white person truly believed that white people actually were superior, I feel as though the rest of the world would have really absorbed that already. And like, okay,
I think the rest of the world would have been more scared.
Yeah, but I think they're doing it right now. Like China's doing it right now, India's doing it right now. But they're realizing, oh wait, white people make up 15% of the Earth's population.
And they're gonna stick together. They're gonna stick together. They don't care if you're American, they don't care if you're Jamaican, American, South American, African. If you're white, you with me.
That's why so many people want to be white. They want to be part of the 15%. They want to be part of that exclusive club where they already have the benefits of being the superior, quote unquote, race.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my experience at church. It was very interesting. I liked it.